So you guys might not be aware, but Star Trek is very, very important to me. While I pride myself on the senseless consumption of any and all popular culture media, Star Trek, particularly the Next Generation era, remains literally my favourite thing in the world. It not only informed my interests and my choice of career, but also informed my character in a myriad of positive ways.
I don't need your fantasy women.
In short, I owe a lot of who I am today to the crew of the Enterprise D and their adventures into the unknown reaches of space. Now, like many older Trek fans, I've struggled, to put it lightly, with the new era of Trek. The more action-focused blockbuster style that started with the 2009 Abrams reboot and has only escalated to new levels of absurdity in the Kurtzman era just isn't Trek to me. So when I heard there was a new Star Trek game coming out that would be a narrative adventure set in the TNG era, and it would focus on the moral and philosophical questions that helped forge the series' legacy, I straight up lost my shit. While I know it might not have the budget or the fidelity or the marketing of stuff like Tears of the Kingdom or Final Fantasy XVI, both of which I've been looking forward to for many years by the way, if the writing was good, this game represented something truly special for me. Despite the many bangers releasing this year, Star Trek Resurgence remained my most anticipated game of 2023. And so, on the 23rd of May, with 80 hours of Tears of the Kingdom behind me, and that game as well as a few others finished up, I cleared my schedule and sat watching the PSN, waiting for Resurgence to drop. My store wallet already loaded with the required funds. And it's here, as early as this, that the problems unfortunately began. Throughout the entire marketing push for Star Trek Resurgence, the developers, Brunner House and Dramatic Labs, were seemingly listing both PS4 and PS5 versions in their marketing. This could be seen both in separate icons and listed formats on their website, and even saw review sites like Metacritic create 2 pages for review aggregates, one for each format. However, when the day came, it seemed that only the PS4 version was available on the PlayStation Network in all regions. Confused, both myself and many other fans took to Twitter to ask, quite reasonably, where's the PS5 version? The official Star Trek Resurgence Twitter account then responded to several of these inquiries with this tweet, quote, "There is not a separate PS5 version of the game. The PS4 version is playable on PS5 as well," end quote. Now, bear in mind, this is after there was these 2 images on the dev's website during the marketing cycle. Obviously, this left more than a few fans confused and angry, with some even calling it false advertising. I'm not sure if this was a case where there was a PS5 version that got cut for budgetary reasons or something, but either way, this marketing seems a little suspect.
I don't know. I think that's a bit dodgy, mate.
Also, just to clarify, as we'll discuss further in a second, this game is not even enhanced if you play it on PS5. It's just literally the PS4 version working in backwards compatibility mode. But despite it all, my enthusiasm for the game won out, and while I was a bit annoyed, I thought, it doesn't really matter that much, right? There are many games I love on the PlayStation 4, and I'm not so much of an elitist that I needed a PS5 version. So I bought it and downloaded it, and then I booted it up. So there's no other way to say this. This game was not ready for release on this format. It seems like there's been little to no optimization here, with awful graphical issues and ghosting happening near constantly, and distractingly bad visuals like hair and facial features constantly taking you out of the experience. It really just feels like playing the game on the lowest possible PC setting, if I'm honest. And while I'm not sure it will completely translate after YouTube's compression, trust me when I say that the PS4 version of this game looks distractingly bad. On top of this, the animation and visual bugs and glitches are rife, with all kinds of janky weirdness happening near constantly. I understand that the team were working on a limited budget, but it just feels unpolished right from the get-go here. However, as I mentioned before, I'll generally put up with a lot if the game is good or fun to play, and as many who watch this channel already know, I like to try and see all aspects of a piece of media before making any kind of judgment. But unfortunately, it seemed that the biggest problems were just about to rear their heads. Star Trek Resurgence is a choice and dialogue-driven adventure game. Think Telltale. In fact, the studio that made this is comprised of some ex-Telltale developers. So as we know from games like that, animation, visuals, and fidelity are not of paramount importance. The important thing is the writing, the choices, and the moral dilemmas, right? Well, I only played Star Trek Resurgence for just over an hour and a half, and in that time, I experienced constant, and I mean constant, audio and subtitle bugs, several of which undercut important decisions or made them impossible for me to make. I mean, just check out the dialogue and subtitles in this little sequence.
Please do everything you can to make Commander Rydek feel at home here. I'll be on the starbase. I have an urgent meeting with the starbase commander to get our authorization to get underway. If they drag their feet any longer, the bridge is yours.
In the game's first hour or so, you have a choice to make on the bridge. The two characters who are giving you options to side with explain their reasoning and plans, and then you must choose which you think is right. Standard adventure game stuff, right? Well, when I played this choice, every single time the explanation was cut off for one of them, and once the game bugged out completely and just made the decision for me halfway through an establishing cutscene. This means that the fundamental mechanics of the game, making choices, listening to others, and discussing moral and philosophical dilemmas, simply doesn't work on this PS4 version. Now, it's clear that this game has some jank anyways, and I can look past that along with the aforementioned visual issues. But when I can't hear anyone due to badly balanced volume, have a large choice taken out of my hands by a bug, have dialogue cut off so I don't know what the characters have said, or have valuable motivations and setup completely skipped through no fault of my own, it sort of takes away the very reason for playing a game like this. What makes all of this worse is that so far at least, the writing and tone is exactly what I wanted it to be. And when it does work, it seems like it could be the Star Trek game that I've been waiting for. It's clear that those who made this game know and love the source material and understand why its long-standing fans love it so much. But none of that will matter if the very underpinnings of the mechanics that make this game what it is fail to work or ruin the experience. Now, in the devs' defense, they have responded saying they're working on patches and are hoping to continue to fix up the issues in a timely manner, which is the precise reason why I stopped playing after just over an hour and a half, as I think it could be a great game, like a Game of the Year contender for me if it just worked. But as it is now, it would just be ruined by elements way out of my control. It's also for that reason that I've positioned this video as an impressions, and I fully intend to cover this game again when it's been patched. But I wanted to get something out now because as a lifelong Trek fan who was excited for this and spent out on day one, it has unfortunately already brought me a lot of disappointment, and I really can't recommend it on this format in this state. Separate from the weird marketing kerfuffle and the lackluster visuals on the console version, the game just fundamentally doesn't function in the way it needs to right now on PS4. And that is such a shame, because I can already see such potential in its themes, tone, and storytelling, even from only playing an hour and a half or so, and that time being heavily compromised. So if anyone out there is playing or has played the PC version, feel free to drop a comment below and let us know how it is, and I'll be sure to keep my eye on things for this version as patches roll out. If you don't want to miss out on any potential update or coverage for this game, maybe sub and ding the bell, as it really helps me out. I'm still a small channel, so please feel free to share if you can or want to.
I don't!
But that's going to do it for today. I hope you all enjoyed the video. I'll catch you on the next one. As ever, stay safe out there.
Hey kid, don't ever let them get inside your head. They'll tell you what to do in life instead of everything you know that you could get. Don't let them guide your life towards regret. I'll fight for what I love with every breath. My past is filled with things I won't forget.
I'm forgiven!